Do you have questions about your health? Do you need to find out what's keeping you from feeling your absolute best? If so, your intuition has guided you to the right place. I am Dr. Charlize, and welcome to the Art of Healing podcast community. In this podcast, we explore all topics in health and wellness, from Reiki to functional medicine, energy medicine, chakras, and meditation. Join me every week for fresh new episodes that highlight healers, various healing modalities, and use this as your opportunity to find what healing works best for you. If you want to learn more about me, simply Google at Dr. Charlize. Enjoy. Hello, thank you for tuning in to my next podcast. For this session, I'm going to give an introduction of myself and of my website. Who I am. I am a board certified practicing physician. I trained in internal medicine and I've been in practice a little bit over a decade. I took the traditional route that most physicians in America take. I finished my undergraduate training at University of Oklahoma. I finished my med school training at Meharry Medical College, which I'm very proud of, and my residency at the University of Oklahoma in Oklahoma City. I have practiced in a variety of settings. Outpatient, I've done occupational medicine, I've done procedures. It's been a very fun career, and I, of course, still take patients now in my practice. And I present all this because I'm, of course, very proud of my background. It's a lot of fun being a physician. I know there's lots of stressful media out there right now, and all of you are hearing things about what it's like to be a physician, but there are some really wonderful parts, especially the fact that I get to know people in such an intimate way. And just as much as there's sadness, I see a lot of miracles too. Um, so, in addition to my medical practice, I also have learned a few other self healing skills, which is what brings me to this podcast and presenting um, my website. So, this does require some personal information. So, um, I was chugging along like most physicians. It had a really blessed career path, a very supportive mother who's a registered nurse. So I had lots of pre-training before I entered medical school, um, completing all my training, just chugging through life when um, sometime in my early 30s, I finally hit a sort of a brick wall where things sort of caved in every direction in my personal life, in my career, and all in one day, all the things I thought were working stopped working. And I look upon this time of my life as a blessing. It was wonderful because had this not happened, I would not have had to turn inward as well as turning outward, re examine what I was doing, and it would not have brought me here. After a series of events, I decided to delve deeper into my yoga. I had been practicing yoga at home by myself. I finally started attending classes with a wonderful instructor named Sarah, which we're still dear friends today. And it was through her introduction that I learned the real power of the yoga that I've been practicing at home as a solo practitioner, as well as discovering Reiki, which has become a very important part of my life. And I hope to introduce to others to make it an important part of their lives. Um, I completed the 200-hour certified yoga teacher training, which was wonders, helped me to understand my own practice, gave me enough knowledge to introduce yoga to others, and even surprisingly to introduce yoga into my clinical practice. I also began my learning in Reiki starting with Reiki 1 and then eventually becoming a Reiki master through starting with Sarah and then with a wonderful teacher named Kelly Schweigel, who is the founder of the Inner Wisdom Circle. And once I became a Reiki master, I was very surprised. Now I understand this, but this is going back 5 years ago, that within a few weeks of becoming very comfortable with working with energy medicine and working with myself a lot, once I learned Reiki 1, I started self-treatment pretty much daily. It became an absolute that I had friends requesting to come to me for Reiki sessions. So starting about 5 years ago, I actually began a small Reiki practice, which I'm able to do a few clients every so often because, of course, I'm a full-time practicing physician. So all of that to say that it's been in my heart for several months, really a few years, that I need to share with the world that there are possibilities for understanding your body, understanding your mind, and it is time for me to help empower others, and that it is possible to feel like yourself or to feel better. So this leads me up to what is happening and what I'm offering. So again, I am a practicing physician, but I have a website, which I think I can include in my link somewhere in the podcast description, called Healing Arts, Health, and Wellness. It is through this website that I am going to be providing several offerings. I will be starting 2 Reiki courses. The first Reiki course is going to be Reiki for Self-Empowerment. This course is going to be for any person that wants to learn Reiki. What I've noticed over the years, and Reiki practitioners actually know this, but once I became attuned to Reiki, I had lots of patients show up with questions that, universe sort of directed them my way. They kind of drift in and they'd wonder if they should add crystals to their regimen or essential oils, and it's hilarious because I'm an internal medicine doctor, but they would start to show up. And the key thing that I noticed with these people was that they were often curious, or maybe they wanted to take that step, but finding access to a course that they could manage, they could do on their own. And just the way it works out, a lot of times my patients often have very stressful lives with lots of demands. So they didn't have the luxury of being able to take a weekend or a week or however to do some of the wonderful Reiki trainings that have been out there. I am starting this podcast during the pandemic, which has changed everyone's lives and changed how we communicate and how we work. So the one blessing that has been available is that a lot of the Reiki trainings that I would have encouraged people to do have become available online. But I have felt it deep in my heart that as a Reiki practitioner, and as well as someone that understands clinical medicine, that I want to offer something that I would send my own patients to and say, hey, here you go, you can start this. The key thing with my course is that it's going to be self-guided. So these courses, they can be done in your own time. So you can do small chunks or you can do it all at once. But my first course will be Reiki for Self-Empowerment. This is a Reiki 1 course that is meant for anyone. And one important thing I want to point out is that I will be spending quite a bit of the time educating you on your body, on your physiology, on your anatomy, because there's definitely a unifying theme as you begin to learn energy medicine and learning your own body. As a physician and having met many physicians and nurses, medical assistants, respiratory therapists, met executives, all sorts of people in healthcare, I have noticed that there is a phenomenon. I call it the unshielded empath. There probably is a really good name for it, but I think we've all heard about burnout in medicine. Before the pandemic and before coronavirus, there was definitely a pandemic of burnout in healthcare. And I've had thoughts about this and had quite a bit of knowledge, to be honest, but we all get stuck. You don't share, you don't want to talk, but I got to say something now, which is I have become very aware, especially among those that provide direct care to patients, but in all honesty, anyone that works in healthcare, the chances of them being an empath of some sort is very high. And what this means is these people often have been using this empathy as a skill to move ahead in their career. But at the same time, they don't understand what they have, and they're draining themselves. And I'm a firm believer this is happening with surgeons, with the housekeeping service, with any ancillary staff, physical therapist, that to some extent they all have empathic abilities that they have not realized are there, but they are using very heavily and draining themselves. So for those that work in healthcare, this isn't particularly for just physicians or nurses. I'm designing a Reiki course to help those in healthcare continue to use their empathy as their strength, but also to protect their own energy. So this will be Reiki 1 for healthcare workers, and this is going to be help for the empath. Now, the difference with this course is for the course in healthcare and with both sets of courses, I will provide training all the way up to Reiki Master. However, I will be somewhat particular because the one for those working in healthcare will have slightly different information. I also will make some assumptions about things that they may already know about the human body, because there's some knowledge I'd like to impart, some of my own observations that I think would be more appropriate for that audience. So those are the two big things I have going on. With this podcast, I plan to deliver quite a bit of information over the coming weeks about some of my observations, some of what my website is offering. And I think the biggest thing is that we're in a time of unrest, and there's lots going on. There are many sources you can turn to for the latest information, the hottest or the most upsetting information. I'm going to be honest with you, this isn't going to be one. This is going to be a place you can go to if you want a sense of calm, if you want a sense of centering, if you'd like to turn away from the world and turn your energy back on yourself. So I hope this helps. I thank you so much for listening. I welcome comments, and I'm just so excited to get this started. Tune in for my next podcast. I'll get that going fairly soon. You should be able to see a link for my website, which is healingartshealthandwellness.com. Please visit. Please sign up to get notifications, because I will definitely be notifying you all as soon as these courses are ready to roll. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining during this episode of the Art of Healing podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please leave a review. Also, you can check your show notes to find out how to get a copy of this and future episodes emailed directly to your inbox, available to listen to anytime. Finally, if you have questions or wish to connect to me, check your show notes to find out how we can get connected and find out how I can be of service to you.